The budget enthusiast. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy, the Budget Enthusiast, and today we're going to talk about X. So, this movie is directed by Ty West, and it's put out by A24 Studios. Those of you who have ever watched an A24 studio movie, you kind of know what you're getting into. They're usually really weird movies. Most of them are a little slow, and then they have like a third act that is like bonkers crazy. This is kind of no different. This definitely fits the mold for A24 movies. So the premise is there is an up and coming filmmaker who wants to shoot a movie on location. So he finds this old farm that the guy owns. He has like a little house that he rents out, and they're going to shoot the movie there. Now, what type of movie this is? The title is called X. So hopefully you can put 2 and 18 together. So they go to film this movie here. The owner of the property does not know what type of movie that they're filming. And they proceed to shoot. But as as the story goes along, things become a little weird. The old guy warns them. Now, this is something you can see in the trailers. The old guy warns them about his wife and how she is a little strange at night. Like, she gets confused at night. Almost like a sundowner syndrome. Almost like M. Night Shyamalan's The Visit. But trust me, it's not even close to being the same. Like, they're not the same movie. So things go along. The characters go to shoot their movie, and then there's other story elements within the group, and then you have the overarching story with dealing with the old guy and his wife. So, not to go too deep into anything else, I'll go ahead and tell you what I think of the movie. So, it is shot wonderfully. It has the 70 is this movie takes place in 1979. So the aesthetics look like an old 70s, early 80s film. It does. Like the film grain that they use, because you could tell this was probably shot on film instead of shot digitally. So on film, you get to see the film grain, and there are a couple little instances from a cinematography standpoint that are just awesome. Like, they just are cool views of the story that he's trying to portray. So I enjoyed a lot of the cinematography of this particular movie. Now, as far as the movie itself, I really think they could have cut I would say maybe a solid 15 minutes out of this thing, because there are a lot of little scenes that go for maybe a minute or two or three or four that definitely could be trimmed out, and you'll get the same effect. I know Ty West he usually has artsy things within his films, like The Innkeepers. Like, The Innkeepers is a great movie, but there are moments where you're just like, I mean, that shot wasn't necessary. Like, we could have just trimmed that back and told the same story. That's what it's like here. Because of the type of movie that they're trying to shoot in the film, it's a lot of nudity in it. So those who are offended by nudity, or you trying to take your small kids to see this because you don't have a babysitter or whatnot, I wouldn't advise doing it. It's a lot of nudity, a lot of sex in this thing. So, because it's the type of film that he's filming, I mean, that's what you would expect. You could just see the trailer and know what I'm talking about. It's a lot of sex in it, some nude scenes, unnecessary nudity too. Like, I mean, there's some scenes where you could have really had some drawers on or some pants that we could have got the same effect. But when you go see it, or if you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. But all in all, the movie was actually really good. Like, it gives you those creepy vibes from the family. Now, those of you who have watched other A24 movies know the third act, like I said in the beginning of this video, the third act is always bonkers. Also, within A24 movies, ones that I've seen quite a few, they always have an uncomfortable scene, especially their A24 horror movies, they always have like an uncomfortable scene, and usually it involves old nude people, and this here is no exception. There is a scene in this movie that makes you squirm just because of the I understand why he put this scene in there. I guess it was a necessary scene, but I guess they didn't have to show as much as they show. It will make you squirm. Those who've seen Hereditary, if you've seen Hereditary, you know Hereditary builds up that tension, and you're starting to see spooky things happening, and then at the very end, you get that cult of people that are naked up in the attic. Like, why? Like, they didn't have to be naked. It's shock value. It's shock value. Midsummer was the same way. Just shock value. And okay, whatever, that's the artistic choice. And as a moviegoer, for me, I expect some of those things in A24 movies. I've seen it all too many times, so that's what's going to happen. So if you're offended by nudity and old folk nudity, then I probably wouldn't advise you to go to see this movie. But if you don't care about that, it's actually a pretty decent story, and the acting is pretty good too. So I would say that I did enjoy this movie. Could I have cut some of it out? Could I have taken it and did some edits and re-edit the movie, still tell the same story while trimming some of the fat? Absolutely. But I'm not a director. Therefore, I'm here to watch it. What I saw was well done. It's a well done movie. The gore is really good. It's excessive like I would hope it would be. All in all, I would say it gets a single thumbs up for me. It's not something that I could recommend to everybody. This movie is not made for everyone. Not everybody will enjoy this type of movie. I enjoyed it. It's a horror movie from A24. They have excellent moments. They always are shot well. They always look good. So hey, it is what it is. I would say single thumbs up from the budget enthusiast. If you like this type of movie, I would say go see it. If you're offended by nudity and old folk nudity and excessive violence, I wouldn't go see this film. I would just bypass it. You're not going to miss anything by not seeing this movie. But for those of you who are horror fans and like A24 movies, I would say this is a definite go see. So I probably would wait until it comes out on video. I know I always tell you to support your local movie theaters, but I mean, this wasn't even shown in the Dolby Theater. So this is the opening weekend that I'm filming this, and it was in like the theater way in the other side, the super small theater. They got like 20 seats. I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean. So single thumbs up from the budget enthusiast. It's not for everybody. I thought it was pretty good. Well shot. Well done. So thank y'all for watching. Hopefully this helped you out. Y'all stay safe out there. Peace. The budget enthusiast. Boy DV. The budget enthusiast. The boy DV. The budget enthusiast.